Life, I wonder, will it take me under? I don't know. Imagine smoking weed in the street without cops harassing. Imagine going to court with no trial. Stab cruising blue Bahama waters. No welfare supporters. More conscious of the way we raise our daughters. Days are shorter, nights are colder. Feeling like life is over. Snakes strike like a cobra. The world's hot, my son got knocked. Evidently, it's elementary. They want us all gone eventually. Trooping out of state for a plate. The coke was cooked without the garbage. We don't have the top dollars. Imagine everybody flashing, fashion, designer clothes, lacing your.
What's up, YouTube? It's Nice Man. 72 coming at you from the hashtag Dirty South. Man, I got my buddy on here, Step Back Sports Car. He's on here with me tonight.
What's going on, buddy? What's up?
Hey, brother, doing good. Hey, y'all, I know I got the TV on. I got a good one. Keep you entertained. If you don't want to watch me, you got it over the shoulder, too. We're waiting on Chili. Chili's supposed to be on here with us tonight, but he may have had to work late. One of them government employees, so he's doing due diligence. But, man, John, I appreciate you being on here tonight, taking the time to talk to me and discuss some interesting topics that's going around in the hobby.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for having me.
All right, man. All right, y'all. Well, we'll go ahead. We got one person. You got your comments. Throw your comments up there. We'll throw you up there. We're going to do some banners across the bottom for Step Back and on my pages and stuff. But his IG account, Instagram, is Step Back Sports. His eBay, go straight to the store. Go ebay.com/STR/Step Back Sports, one word. And you'll get there. And he has got a pretty cool iPod, and we're going to get into that. That is something really cool that I enjoy listening to. He's one of the guys that I listen to, and luckily he puts that information out there, so all you got to do is click and get on it. But, hey, a hot topic in baseball right now is Lewis Robert.
Who? Who's Lewis? Who's that?
Well, you know, he's got three different names. Lewis Robert.
Then there's the French guy.
Then there's the French guy, Louis Robert. And then there's the guy that played down here in North Carolina and Kannapolis and Charlotte and Winston before down in Alabama. We call him Lou Bob.
So, each guy is a little different. And one guy steals, another guy hits for power, you know.
Yeah, he is a five-tool player. He is a beast. He hustles. I really enjoy watching him play ball, and that's why I'm a fan. I really think with the talent that the White Sox has got, they stay healthy. I straight up think they can give the Yankees a run for every bit of their money.
Think about what you just said. The talent the White Sox have. When the hell has anybody ever said that? Not since like Frank Thomas was there.
I know Stoff, he's a big White Sox fan. He's up there, and he's just as tickled as he can be that the White Sox are contenders this year. I mean, they're on a roll.
You know what, man? It's good to see. It's good to see some other teams, you know, coming out of the gates hot. It's always the Yankees, Dodgers, Red Sox, Cardinals, whatever. It's the same, you know. That's why a couple of years ago when the Brewers got hot, that was cool. If somebody different, you know what I mean?
It's different, yeah, sure enough, man. But I wanted to show you some of the cars I got. I actually purchased some boxes back many moons ago at this point. And pulled, after much product, pulled the Bowman Chrome first for him. And I had 4 of them, and I sent them all to SGC because the White Sox in a tux, it could be a 2, and it's still going to look tough.
Yep.
But I actually sold one of them before Louis, even months ago I sold it. And made a pretty good bling off of it considering when it was. But I've got 3 left that are slab. And the lowest one is the 9.5.
Nice.
And then a 10 gem.
Nice.
But the one I'm the most happiest with is the pristine gold.
That's impressive, bro. That's impressive.
With the way, you know, I told my wife something happened to me. I told her who she needed to call. I said, don't let this stuff So what's up, John? You doing all right, brother, man? I'm glad you could be on here.
What's going on, John? Yeah, you know what, too, man? Save that 9.5 for when we move on a little bit, because I definitely want to talk about the old 9.5.
Definitely
coming up.
And then I went eBay. I got bored and went on eBay. You know, idle hands are the tools of the devil. And I got that. What was that, Mojo, I guess?
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, I lose track of what they call them, you know, but it's like the prism look kind of.
Does baseball have the same parallel stuff like basketball does?
Some stuff, but they do on the Donners and Optic.
Gotcha.
Stuff, but like tops, you know, there's all different. And I heard somebody call them a halo, you know, and all.
Yeah.
But I call that a Mojo card. But got that. That's my other Bowman for him. That's starting to see a little bit of love.
Is that paper?
Yeah, no, that's the chrome.
That's chrome too.
I'm gonna be honest on Bowman. I don't mess with the paper.
Yeah,
I'll get the chrome. Then I went. Now I've pulled 3 of his base rookies, and I got the poor man SGC one touches, and those still look good.
Yeah.
Them one touches look good. You know, there's arguments about one touches. I like them. If you pay attention to the way you put the card in there, they move around as much as they do in a slab, in my opinion. The ones and they're UV protective now.
Oh, really?
Right? Yeah, they're UV protective. So I've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of them. Some of them I pulled, some of them I bought. Then I pulled that one today.
There you go. What's that, the 85 tops?
Yeah, just the base one.
Yeah.
Or anything. And then, man, I don't know. I know you say you're not real big baseball, but you still are knowledgeable. But
I collected baseball for forever, man. I'm in retirement from baseball.
Well, I mean, this is the newer product. This Cops Now that they throw in there. I mean, to me, it's advertisement, but I don't know. Is that like a legit card? I mean,
I don't know. I don't.
Anybody know in the comments too?
I don't know enough about what's up in baseball right now.
Now I've got one of these 2030. I love the Topps 2030 cards. And I'm going to bring that back up. When you talk about the 9.5,
yeah,
I'm going to bring this card up.
That's a cool looking card, man.
So I've actually got this one submission with Bobbles now at SGC, and I got this one. I got this one with one of the bases in a combo for $14 before they went off the rails. And then I've got the commemorative coin.
Yeah, I see. I like those. I've seen those. I like those. That's cool. That's a cool little product right there.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of weight. I like it. It's a lot better than that 150 medallions.
Yeah,
I've got one around. Yeah, and then I've got a Tatis one I pulled, but that's going to Bull Gator. He's a Tatis fan.
Yeah,
he's a buddy of mine on Instagram, so I'm sending him a bunch of all my Tatis stuff like that. I'm giving to him.
That's a dude down in Florida, right?
Yeah, he's good.
I saw him. Yeah.
But I did find, y'all, I don't know if y'all know it or not, but they do have the Topps 3D cards out for the 2020 line. They're out. And if you're wanting a Lewis Robert or any of the main rookies, if you want one, don't let the boat leave the pier without you, because you're going to be what me and John were talking about, shark bait if you're trying to tip. Because them sharks going to eat you up on secondary market. So you can still find a couple of good deals. You just got to go past the 1 or 2 pages on eBay, I think.
Now, have you bought any of the, kind of a little sidestep with the baseball, but have you bought any of the Project 2020 stuff?
Yes.
What do you think about that stuff?
I like specific cards only.
Yeah.
Very first card I've got, and I've done a video on it, and actually reached out to Blake Jameson, the artist, his rendition. I really like his work. but the Don Mattingly Topps rookie card, that I have that card that I had as a kid safe. I mean, I had it penny sleeve put up for years, but the reason that I care for it so much is that it was a pack that me and my father bought. My dad has passed away not long ago, and so that's one of the reasons I got back in the hobby.
That connection.
That connection. But I bought his Project 2020. I've got that with the collection. I actually got it back here displayed on my shelves back there. I've got a 3 Mark McGuire's. You know, because he's McGuire. I mean,
hit bombs, man. He hit bombs.
Man, he's the original.
I actually bought some of the Ermsey Derek Jeters. I bought 5 of them. I just figured it looked cool. It was kind of simple. Someone did a Jeter too that was really cool that I liked. But I just figured for $20, those cards aren't, even though you're not going to see the spike like we were seeing with them. I still think they're going to rise in value over the next couple years because that's it. Even though there's 100,000 of a print run or whatever, it's still limited. And the nice thing about the 2020 is because of the artist, it actually opens up an entire other market that people have been, being pulled into the card, for those specific cards anyway. John, I agree.
Now, I did get the Cal Ripken because I'm a Cal Ripken fan. Because him and Eddie Murray and Billy Ripken all play in Charlotte as a kid with the farm team with the Orioles. And I got a Ricky Henderson to match the Ricky Henderson. Yeah. But mine's Blake Jameson. I've got Blake Jameson stuff.
Nice.
I like him.
John, speaking of your comment, man, there's a Griffey one that literally looks like my kid did it, like sleeping. I was like, what is this? Like, it made the card look worse.
There's some of them like ding, ding, ding. There's the shitty fire truck drawing. I mean, it's not me. I know. But with they've had a lot of problems with returns on that because people bought them, trying to make a quick flip, and
that's where I think the whole later on when we get into the eBay stuff, I think where that whole piece is coming from, and some of the stuff PayPal did as well, because of the massive amount of returns and whatnot that were going on, specifically due to that 2020 stuff.
And y'all save your comments. If you got any comments about the eBay stuff, hang on. We are going to hit it. So just hang on. I want to cut that off at the pass. All righty. Tell us about your podcast. Let's jump on your podcast, brother.
So I started a podcast, I don't know, maybe a month or so ago. And the reason why I did that, I didn't want to recreate the wheel, so to speak, with YouTube. I feel that there's already enough people out there that are doing a good job. And I didn't want to be just like another guy on YouTube doing whatever. So I was telling you a little bit, like with what I drive, I have like an hour commute to and from work. So I was searching for basketball card podcasts specifically. And I quickly realized that there was, 3 or 4. And one of them had stopped completely because the guy went in a different avenue with his business venture. But there's one that I really love, Wax Museum podcast. It's awesome. And that kind of inspired me to, there's a lot of people that drive to and from work or at work listening to something, or they're riding their Peloton or whatever they're doing. Not everybody likes to get onto YouTube and watch videos. So a lot of people like to do, just listen to something while they're cutting the grass or whatever. And I figured, if I could throw out some stuff from my own eyes, and again, I'm not an expert. I don't have massive cards in my collection anymore. I'm building that part back up, but I've been collecting since I was, 8, 9 years old. I've taken time off, I've come back. I've taken time off, I've come back. So I feel quite a bit of knowledge. And plus I know sports inside and out. So it's just, I figured, what the heck, I'll throw some things out there and see what happens. And to my surprise, I've got like 25 subscribers already. I was like, all right, there's 25 suckers out there. You know what I mean? Somebody likes my voice. So
it is a soothing voice.
Yeah. Hey, thanks, man. I get told a lot. I live up in the Northeast, and I always get told like, "Oh, did you grow up down south?" And I'm like, "No, I'm born and raised in the Northeast, man." And it's like, I don't know. I don't know where it comes from, but whatever.
Now, how hard was it to get a podcast set up once the getting that done if somebody's interested in?
So it actually from the guy on your TV, I listened to his podcast, Boris, the Hobby Box, and he part of the advertising is it's through a platform or an app right on your phone. It's called Anchor.fm. You download the app, set up your podcast. You can record right from your phone. You can edit right from your phone. It's not crazy high tech. I mean, you don't have a microphone. There's no crazy editing software. What I've noticed when I record by myself, it works really well. But some of my episodes you've heard with Card Currency on there. And I think when I invite someone in, the connection piece, there either needs to be like an update to the app or whatnot, because there's like massive like crackling that happens, and it's super annoying. So like right now I'm kind of going solo again on some episodes until we can figure out a way to eliminate that crackling. But other than that, it's basic. It's not hard at all. And then they push it out to it automatically goes to Spotify right away. And then as you build up and whatnot, it kicks it to every other podcast app. I went to Apple pretty quick. I'm on Google now. So I'm on Spotify, Apple, Google Play, and then like 6 of them I've never even heard of. But yeah, so that's that. It's seriously like podcasting for dummies. If I can do it, literally anybody can do it. Thanks, John.
Thanks, John. Hashtag Dirty South Productions. We're gonna expand it up north. We're gonna get RI repper, right?
Yeah.
And this is a good point. On the Bobbles chat, you're really involved in that. You're a moderator on that.
Yep.
What kind of turn have you seen with folks joining, being interested in it? Because to me, it seems like it's been real positive compared to some of the other Facebook pages I've been in. There's not a lot of drama. I mean, anytime you get a group of people with diverse opinions and collection types, you're gonna agree to disagree. And but I don't see it. We had talked about it a little bit. I don't see it like a bunch of hyenas ripping somebody apart for making a comment.
No, and like the whole thing with collecting cards, right? You could be a Tops guy and I could be an Upper Deck guy. So right there, we already have a difference. You know what I mean? Like you like Tops cards, I like Upper Deck. And what's pretty funny is when I was a kid, I really liked Upper Deck because of the Griffey. And my buddies were always like, "Oh, Tops, Donruss," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna stick with Upper Deck. They were a little shiny and whatever." And then they came out like, quick little tidbit: the Upper Deck actually had the opportunity to get the Chrome license first. The company that pitched it was a company out in California. They created the technology to make chromium cards. They pitched it to Upper Deck. Upper Deck said, "Nah, we're going to go with the hologram crap that they did." Tops ended up signing an exclusive deal with them. Bam, there you go. And that started with the Finest Football back in like '92 or whatever it was when they released that subs or that little set. And then the following year, '93, Finest Basketball. That was the first Chrome cards, and then it just took off from there. But Upper Deck, they went hologram when I'm sure if they could go back and do that one over again,
and that's a good analogy. And I've heard you make the analogy of Ford guys and Chevy guys.
Yep.
And I think that's a good transition going into talking about grading and the grading companies.
Yep.
and pop reports, and I did the thumbnail. Are we drinking the Kool-Aid, or are we help making that kind of deal? Making fun of it a little bit. But what's your thoughts on that subject?
So, for me, for the longest time, like I was always, PSA, BGS, and I never graded my own cards back in the day ever. See you, John. I always bought graded cards, and I was a big fan of pop one cards, or population of 3, anything with a low pop. I was always a fan of, because in my mind, not only was it if it was a 10, great, because it made it even super rare, but you could always get a little bit more money for your card because it was a low pop. And then now that I've come back in and I made the decision that I was going to start grading my own cards and trying to sell and whatever, I started doing my research, and I was on PSA, and I was literally about to subscribe to the membership thing for the $250, so I could get the 15 vouchers.
Somebody else saw it. Thank you.
Yep. And I was like, let me hang on a second. So I went back to BGS, and then I was I typed in grading companies, and SGC came up. So I was like, let me click on them. So I clicked on them. I started playing around with their website, and I was like, oh, I remember these guys. And then I was like, oh, they're only $10 a card. Well, I got 4 kids and a wife, man. And I know that we've had this discussion ad nauseum in the Bobbles group. Money matters when you don't have unlimited funds to do things. So even though it's if PSA is $20, well, I can still do 2 for the price of 1. So I thought, I'm going to give them a shot. And see how it goes, kind of like a trial. It's cheap enough where I'm not into it for crazy money. And then as I've gotten into it, I still buy BGS cards. You guys see them when I post mail day stuff. I mean, I have PSA, I have BGS. I've grown to really like all of them. The one thing right now, there's such a backup everywhere that it's really I'm contemplating not grading for a while.
Me too.
Just because I'm gonna wait and see what we did with our last bulk there and see how that comes back. As far as how many days, if it's really 40 to 45 days, then I'm in. You know what I mean? Because I can handle that.
I really think the only way in the environment that the hobby's in with slabbing, and you want to slab your cards, is you're gonna, to get any kind of realistic turnaround on it, you're gonna have to do a group sub, because that's what they're moving, because the dollar amount they're making, just that sheer volume of money.
At least at SGC, it seems, has taken on the opposite model of BGS and PSA, where they're placing priority on the bulks, which, you know what, it's different, and what the hell, PSA doesn't do that. Bulk subs, I see, guys are still waiting. It's been 6, 7, 8 months. I mean, I don't want to wait 8 months to have my cards back. We've talked about that. At that point, a guy's career could already be over.
Well, I didn't realize this. JT on Triple Crown, he's got PSA submissions, and I follow him, and he just made a post this week and said, evidently, PSA does do bulk advanced grading, but you have to be a selected bulk provider.
Yep.
Yeah, you've got to be established. You get an actual rep.
Yep. They have.
So you need. You need to find those groups.
PSA has contracts with certain individuals around the country, certain dealers. I know this because there was a guy. Man, what is it? Something baseball cards. He's down right near you in Georgia. What the hell is this store? But he talked about it.
Is it the big one in Atlanta?
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about.
Something baseball cards or whatever. But he he was on Sports Card Investor,
Yeah.
and he was talking about how he has a contract with PSA, so he gets priority. So right there, you know, you're getting the whatever the word right from the horse, where it's people do get prioritized. To me, the average guy just trying to grade some cards and sell them for whatever. I just want to be treated right. And right now, SGC, even with all of the, we're open, send us your cards and all the PR crap that's going on there and whatever. And I'm sticking with him for now because I like the dude Peter's hustle, man. I just don't see him being denied success, and I like that. That's what I want. I want to be involved in something like that because to me, it means the product is going to continue to grow, and I'm sure that, got ball cards. That's it. Thanks, Mark. I just think that something like that in the hobby is we've been desperately needing that. PSA, oddly enough, goes out and hires basically a PR guy now that is doing all kinds of marketing and communicating and this and that and trying to explain and make PSA more transparent. So Peter's already changed the entire grading industry in 3 months. Whether people want to believe that or not, it's the truth. It's happened.
Look at BGS's last statement. They pretty much plagiarized their statement and did a bad version of it at that.
Yep. And so I try not to get caught up in all the PSA and this and that. Like, the facts are the facts. We all know PSA brings the most money. You can't argue that. But to me, SGC continues to grow. The values are growing consistently month to month with the slabs. I have not gotten a PSA comp for my slabs in an SGC holder. So for anybody out there that says they get less money, they're not doing their homework, and they're not patient. So
each one is like different levels. I've equated PSA to like Target, SGC. Money Mart is Walmart.
Yep.
Those are all successful businesses that target different economic plans. They sell the same thing. It's the same product with a different label on it in their store.
And if you remember, at one point in time, so PSA came out in like 97, and then Beckett and SGC came in 99. And then sometime in the early 2000s, Beckett actually overtook PSA as like the leader. Like the 9.5 was selling for more than a PSA 10, and they had that
because they were publishing the magazine too.
Yep.
They cut SGC out.
Yep. So they had, for a while, BGS was the top dog, and then they just, I don't know if it had something to do with the Dr. Beckett selling the company. I don't know what they're doing. I'm not a businessman, so I don't really, but to me as a collector, like I like to hear things from companies that I want to send my money to. So if I'm paying for your product, like, I want some communication. I don't want to just be like, oh, tough crap, you got to wait 8 months. Like that's shitty customer service. 40 days, 45 days, 60 days in the grand scheme of life, man, that's not a long time. It's not a long time at all. So I'm gonna stick with SGC for now. I have some cards put aside that I'm gonna send out to PSA, but I just think that there's too much potential there to not continue to ride the train for a while and see what happens.
Well, what's your thought? You hear the argument, and I think it's not argument, but valid discussion point of that I've heard in the hobby on different channels and blowout form and whatnot is, a lot of guys are saying, okay, well, if I do this SGC, I'm waiting. If I've got a high-end card, why don't I just send it to PSA for the $75 surcharge?
Yep.
And just wait a couple more days, but I'm getting it back and I'm making more money. I think that's a good point if you've got a card that meets that criteria.
If you listen, there's until collectors take those high-end cards and send them down to SGC, it's tough for them to gain traction in that upper, tier market. Now, we've seen we've seen certain high-end collectors that send their cards to SGC, and they do grade, some of these high-dollar cards. They don't grade them, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there could be stuff that they just haven't released yet. But PSA for modern cards, like from 2012 on, even LeBrons and things like that, they bring more money right now. It's just fact. So if you have an Anthony Davis Prism rookie card, and I have an Anthony Davis Prism rookie card, and I have an SGC 10, and you have a PSA 10, you're going to bring in probably $2,000 or more than what I'm going to bring in. It's just the facts right now. Unless I sit mine at your price and I wait a little while longer, I will eventually get your price, but it's going to take me a little bit right now. And that's okay for me. Like, I'm okay with that. But for the average flipper that wants that liquidity, PSA is the way to go, because you want it sold and you want to move on to the next thing. So that's some of the issue, I think, right now too. But for guys like you and me that, we're not in a rush. We're doing our thing, and it is what it is. SGC will grow. It's not a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. And eventually, the tortoise will cross the finish line. And I think, within a few months, I think you're going to see some changing of some of those things, which kind of leads back into that 9.5. So can you show that 9.5? So the nice thing about SGC is the 9.5. It's not gem mint, and I think it's mint plus. So it's not a 9, it's not a 10. It's right in between them. And that whole category, I've noticed on eBay as a whole, is not priced right at all. What I do, I look at what a PSA 9 of the card is selling for and a PSA 10 of that card is selling for, and I price it right in the middle, because it's not a 9 and it's not a 10. It's right in the middle, and people are costing themselves, $40, $50, $60, $80, $100 just because they're not taking the time to say, oh crap, PSA 9 just sold for 80. I need to bump my card to 120. I did it last week. I bought 2 SGC 9.5 Trae Young hoops for $40 a piece. The PSA 9 sold for 80. Like, wow. Okay, so if you don't want to pay attention to what you got listed, I'll snatch those up, and I'm going to relist them for what they should be, going for, and make myself some cash.
Well, and and the other part of this is a good transition point too. Now is that the whole thing between PSA guys have always, and I use guys as a general term, so nobody flag me here. But
we don't want to protest you.
Yeah, was the pop report. Now the SGC has a pop report. Now it's the registry.
Yep, and now they have a set registry.
So, about pop reports. You and me share this very same opinion on pop reports, and the only way a true pop report is a serial numbered card.
Right.
But that's been a pretty good discussion within the hobby the last week and a half.
Yep.
And I mean, it's like Ford and Chevy guys.
So
NASCAR. So what's your thoughts on the pop report?
Pop reports are, they were maybe accurate the first year they came out. And I think when pop reports really started to change and become completely inaccurate was when PSA changed their grading system and added in the half grade. Because at that point, if you had a PSA 8 and you could bump your card to a PSA 8.5, that could mean a couple $100 more, maybe a couple $1,000 more, depending on the card. So you were starting to see the whole crack and resubmit. One thing I wanted to mention, though, about what you just said about that serial numbered card, Card Currency, and I talked daily, multiple times a day, and we agree kind of like how you agree with me and whatnot on this. He was watching a podcast or a YouTube channel, and there's a guy on YouTube, and I'll spin it to him because I know he's going to do something on it. But with a Drew Brees, there's some Drew Brees card that's numbered to 25, and there's like 36 cards in the pop report between Beckett and PSA. So there's only 25. There's only 25, but pop report there's 36.
Somebody cracked a slab
Yeah.
and resubmitted.
Yeah. Oh no. Yep. So
no, that's not true.
It's even going on what you're saying about the serial numbered card. It's
still flawed.
Yep. It's a flawed system. You know, if you want to use it as a reference point, absolutely. I just don't think there's a whole heck of a lot of merit to it. I really don't. You know, and I think, you know, like I was showing you the other day there, you know, I found stuff dating back to like 2003. So 17 years ago, it was rampant, you know, back then. So we're talking, and who knows when it even started with the cracking and the resubmitting or whatnot.
From the very beginning.
Very, very easily. But if we're going back for if we go back to that, you know, article I sent you, for 17 years, we know that data in those pop reports is now inaccurate. And multiple guys are on those forums saying, oh, I've resubmitted, da, 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 da. I've cracked and resubmitted. So there's this and there's that. And then they talk about how they send in their slips. So if it was a PSA case, they send in their label because PSA is supposed to take it out of the pop report or Beckett or whoever, and they haven't. So it's just like there's, you know, I don't know how many there are per card or what, man. But my point is, if you're living and dying by the pop report, you're selling yourself short because it's not accurate.
Well, you know, you keep hearing technology for the card. This card right here.
Yep.
What's on the card that's interesting?
The
item, right?
What's that?
The thumbprint.
Yes. Yep.
Why can't, you know, because you hear, well, it'll deface the card, you know, it'll take away from the card. Everybody's loving that. I've not heard any negativity about this card.
I like that.
Why cannot the card manufacturers come together and say, like in law enforcement, you have the NCIC, DCI system.
Yep.
You have a system where Topps and Panini, whoever, you know, the legitimate card sources have something like this, and it's in that system. So when PSA, Beckett, GMA, PCC, that's what's run. And if they get that card from somebody got it popped a GMA, and they submitted it to SGC. SGC runs this. It's flagged. Okay. Right. It's flagged. We'll grade it, but it's going to indicate prior grading, some sort of prior grading on the label.
And Bobbles,
not a true 101 or whatever. But
Bobbles had a pretty good idea of when we were talking about that the other night of like either putting like a QR code or a watermark or some kind of invisible thing on the card. Now I don't know how much that would cost for these card companies to do, but until something like that is done, there's never going to be a way to fully keep track of a pop report. So like
that's why there's serial numbers on your items that you buy, your TVs, right, your cars, is to identify that particular item. Yes.
So it's essentially like you're buying a car with a scratched out VIN number. You know what I mean?
Or a handgun.
Yeah. You have no idea. You know, no one has any idea about anything. So I think it's, you know, I'm not saying it's a complete waste. I'm just saying that it's limited. It's really limited in what it can be used for. It's still a viable tool in some sense, but it's a limited tool. It shouldn't be like, oh my God, you know what I mean? Like this is it. And there's, you know, 90, 95, 97 Kobe's. We don't know that. You know what I mean? Because we don't know how many of the 9s were cracked to be 10s or 8.5s that were cracked to be 9s or whatever. You know what I mean? So
well, that's just, law enforcement, you're not allowed to use polygraphs. They're not admissible in court, in criminal court. But you can use them as an investigative tool.
exactly.
Same thing on these pop reports. Just kind of think outside the box on what it's a tool in the toolbox to help you if that's the side of the hobby that you want to go to.
Yep. And there's a certain place for it. I mean, I know right now I have a Kevin Garnett card that's in a PSA 10. That's the only one. I know that for a fact. But how do I know that that card wasn't graded over at Beckett? I haven't looked. It could very well have been over at Beckett. Who knows? I've been down at SGC. I don't freaking know. But as far as I know, it's a 101 in a PSA 10. So to me, that's pretty cool. And I paid a premium for it. But whatever. I collect KG, so it is what it is. You know what I mean? But yeah, I just don't. It's just tough because, I heard a lot of SGC, like people were shitting on them because, they don't have a pop reporter. They don't have this. Like, give me a friggin' break. Like, a pop report is whatever. If that's what you're grading cards for, great. But like, that it's so not like the only thing. You know what I mean? That's not. You're getting your card graded to assign it an actual value. So, as the collector, you know what it's worth. You know what condition it is truly in based on a third party's, criteria. And then you can sell that card based on the grade for more money than you could raw and hopefully protect yourself as the seller because you're not selling a raw card that you're listing in mint condition that you ran over with your car 3 times. You know what I mean? So anyway, I could go on for hours on that stuff.
Well, and you made a good point about selling and being a buyer, and I think this is a good transition into the last topic for the night is the eBay, I guess, structure or marketing structure that they're having for their sales. And you've done a lot of research on that, and you've but given me a little bit of education on it, and I know you've done some more research.
Yeah, so
you share
eBay,
that?
Yeah, absolutely. eBay is changing their payment structure. They're bringing everything in-house. They started last month, and by the end of it sounds like by the end of 2020, if you sell on eBay, eBay is going to manage your payments. They're calling it managed payments. So what the big pro to all of it is they're kicking PayPal out. So no longer are you going to have to pay the final value fee and the 3% to PayPal. They're eliminating that. So you're just going to pay the final value fee. They're also opening it up to you can have more payment options on your product. So when I list my card, currently you have to go through PayPal. Now you're going to be able, once your account is switched over to manage payments, you're going to be able to have like the Apple Pay, the Google Play, PayPal gift cards, or I'm sorry, you can still have PayPal, but you're going to have the option for gift cards. You're going to have the option for American Express, Discover, MasterCard, Visa. So it's giving you as the seller more opportunities to sell your card, which I really like we were talking about. How many times do people make impulse buys on cards? And if they don't have the cash and they know they can pay for it on their credit card and it's only going to set them back $50, I can pay that off when my bill comes in. Great. You've made the sale and we're not sitting around waiting because nobody's got money in their PayPal account.
So essentially they're ditching PayPal as their merchant service.
Correct.
And they're going to do it themselves. Is fair assumption.
Yes. And what it looks like, and it's actually pretty cool if you go, like I have an eBay store, and I would really recommend anybody that's going to start selling cards, just get a basic store. It's $4.95 a month, and there's a ton of advantages to it, and it's so worth it to do it. It doesn't make sense to sell sports cards and not at least have a basic store. But the fees, it looks like you're going to save about a point and a half overall. So it's not like you're going to save crazy money, but you're still saving money, so more money in your pocket. One of the cons that I've heard from people is that you have to eBay's going to hold your money and then disperse it, but you have the option to have that money dispersed daily or weekly. So if you're trying to maybe sell a bunch of cards to save up for a bigger card, have them disperse it weekly so you're not tempted to go buy something in the meantime. If you want your money right away, it looks like it's going to take about 2 days handling time, so you're still not going to have it instantly, but within 2 days your checking account should be funded. Or if you have like another account that I think I got to look into this. I have like a separate account that I use. And I'm pretty sure I can link my eBay sales into that account. I just need to double check it. But if not, it's going to go directly into your checking account, which, I don't know, pros and cons to that too, I guess, if you got a wife at home and whatever else, you know what I mean? But, I'll figure the other part out. But like I said, eBay to me, I know there's some other things that are popping up to sell sports cards and this and that. eBay's reach is almost untouchable. It's going to take companies and sites or whatever a long time to try to even dent that eBay, monopoly. It's just they're too big. They're global. And if you really think about it, the fees, that 10% or the 9.15 they take, I think, from a sports card memorabilia type store, that's your marketing budget that they're taking. That's how I look at it. So if I sell a card for $50 and they take $5 from that, that's great, man, because to me, I gave them $5 to market that card to make the sale. So I'm okay with that. Rather than me having to try to create an Instagram and drive everybody to my Instagram or create some website, it's already done for me. Take a picture, type a couple things, hit submit, and it's posted to millions of people. For $5, I'll do that all day long, and God forbid if I ever have a card that I can sell for $1,000 or $10,000 or whatever dollars, and I got to pay, $100, $200, $1,000 in a fee. Well, if I'm making 19, 20 grand, what the hell do I care? You know what I mean? So I think what they're doing is smart. I think it's going to help those of us that sell with the different options that are going to be available. And I just think it really appeals to the younger collectors too, like those guys that are, 20 years old and 20 to maybe 30 that are really into using the Apple Pay, the Google Pay, the Venmos, the Cash Apps. It's going to give them that option with the Apple Pay and the Google Pay, which to me opens up even more. So I'm all for it.
Yeah, I think that would be really beneficial at using those devices anyway. I wonder how that would transition over to a live, to like the ball card shows, because they say cash is king at those things.
Yep.
I haven't been to a card show, but I wonder if they even use that kind of technology now.
So I know a lot of small businesses are using the iPad, the square, that little white thing you swipe your card through. I don't know, if I was at a show and I had a table and you came up to me and you're like, hey, I want to buy that Cal Ripken rookie from you, but I only have Venmo. Do you have Venmo? Yep. It's the same thing. I'm all for it. I'm just not into the only one I don't really like is the Zelle, where you can just transfer money from if I wanted to send you money checking account to checking account. I just get worried sometimes with that stuff.
I don't want I want a neutral party involved.
Yeah, me too. That's why I have a separate. I use Acorns. I don't know if you ever heard of Acorns. Mm-hmm. I set up I have a savings account and I have their checking account debit card thing, and that's where I use all my card money from. So I'm going to have everything go through that. I like to keep, I don't need anybody hacking into my checking account and stealing my mortgage payment. You know what I mean? So,
man, I messed up and did had one. eBay jacked it up, and for some reason it defaulted to another bank account, which was the joint bank account.
Yeah, that's. Yep.
And I was like, I don't know about that, so we, had to do a fraud thing on it. Well, it's legitimate payment, and that's jacked everything up this week for me. I know Bobbles is not. Sorry, Bobbles, you're doing your show right now. Chili has been texting me. Chili, if you're listening, I sent the link to your email. It came back domain unknown, and sent another one, and then I've sent you the Facebook Messenger link. So check your Facebook Messenger. It's showing that it went through. Sorry about that. Now he's seen it at 9:52. Because we're going to stay not really wanting to stay on here too much longer. I know because you got a family and
it's all good. Whatever you want to do, man. I mean, I think I think with what we've talked about, I hope we've shed some light on some things for some people. I've tried real hard to make a sale on my slabs the best I can. I don't know what else to do. I've discounted the prices to the point where I'm like basically breaking even, and I still haven't sold anything.
I've sold one. My problem with my slab is that it shows the what's current just got put in.
Yeah.
That's what's being shown. It keeps refreshing to what's just been put in.
Yep.
I mean, I've been on my slab since I started. I'm not impressed with it.
It's tough.
And there's a way to beat the system too out of paying fees. They don't know that, but there's a way to beat their fee. You can actually sell a card on my slab and not have to pay them any money. There's a loop in it, and they don't realize it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'll tell you that off the air.
Yeah. That's I want them
I've
to
sent
do
an
well.
email to him, so
I really want them to do well because I think it's a cool concept and everything. What I've noticed is I search for certain guys that I collect, and I think I found on Michael Jordan, I found maybe 2 deals. To me, everything is listed really high or right at the eBay price or whatever. And to me, when I list on there, I know I'm saving 8%. So I'm going to reflect that in the price. And people are still, and again, it's their card. Do whatever you want with it. I'm not trying to tell anybody how to do things. But the idea, I think, when I initially was shown it and whatnot, was all right, you can list your card a little differently here because the fees aren't nearly as what they were on eBay. And for me, I just haven't had any luck. It doesn't mean that the site sucks or anything like that. But it just means that me personally, I'm tending to not really do much with it anymore. All my stuff, I don't sell on Facebook really. I don't sell on Instagram. I'm doing Instagram more for keeping in connection with you guys and other collectors just to see what's going on. But I don't have a problem with eBay. I like it, and it takes the guesswork out of it. So that's what I'm going to stick with. It's tried and true for me since 2005. So I'm just gonna roll with it. It is what it is. So.
Why don't you take that in from Connor?
I don't know. What's he talking about? What slabs for sale?
I don't know if you got anything for sale.
He only does baseball, right?
I didn't know, yeah. I didn't know if you had any baseball. I know you're real big basketball right now.
I have probably about a $30,000 baseball collection that is currently with my buddy's kid. I donated it to him. Stuff from the early 1900s all the way up.
Wow.
Massive stuff. And I just don't have it. There he is. There he is.
Wow.
So the only baseball I have is at SGC, to be honest with you. I have a Pedro Martinez rookie card I found in a box. Something else. I don't know. Not a Mark McGuire Don Ross rookie card. And that's it, man. Not much, man. We solved all the world's problems in 54 minutes. So
okay, right on.
Tomorrow you
I'm
wake
not
up
too
to a
sure
better
about
day.
these step up or step back sports. I don't know nothing about you, man. I'm not followed you or nothing, so I guess
That's
I need
all right.
to subscribe to your channel.
I don't have a channel on YouTube. I don't do the YouTube. I guarantee you, you're in Bobble's group, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you probably know me by my real name on there. I'll message you.
Okay. Right on.
Yeah, this is my incognito name.
Okay. Right on.
All right, Bobbles, you said you've got some. I've already done my Robert, Louis Robert, or Lou Bob. Some interesting selections here. So,
did we already share our new cards or what?
yeah, we did, man. We had to. We rolled on, man. We was waiting for you to jump on there, but yeah, we still want to see your cards, man.
Yeah, what do you got?
Okay.
Let's see what you got.
Well, let's see. The most impressive one I don't have. It came in the mail today, but I wasn't here to get it because it was such a high dollar. I had to sign for it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I bought one of those super short prints, the triples.
Oh, of like the Jordan, whatever one. Is that the one?
Yeah, I bought that one, but I wasn't here to sign for it today. I was at work. I worked overtime, so I don't have that one yet.
That's the worst. The worst is knowing that it came and then you're like, God damn it.
Yeah, I did pull something pretty cool today. I bought some 2020 Topps Chrome, and I got one of these. It's like a base variation refractor Jordan. He's in all white. It's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, the weekend uni.
Yeah. I think it's like one of like 500 packs or something like that. But let me go get my. I wasn't prepared yet, so let me go get my stack. I'll be right back in like a minute.
That's all right. Let's talk Jordan for a minute. That guy is a goddamn machine. I get the Acuna thing, and I get the Christian Yelich.
I think Acuna's overrated. I think Acuna's a long-term player, but I think people are going to be pissed at me. I think Soto was a better baseball player. I think Jordan's a better baseball player.
Jordan,
long-term career, he's going to have a longer overall better career, if that makes any sense.
If obviously with any of these young guys, the big question is the if. How long they can play for at a high level. Jordan absolutely mashes. It's fun to watch. I think Soto has the same type of potential. I just think Jordan's that next guy, because I think he's going to well, actually, I shouldn't say that because everybody's taking target practice at the Astros right now. So he may take a hard one, man, and it could be over.
I'm back.
Especially if he catches a Joe Kelly upside the dome, So
there was some bullshit about that.
We'll get that. He was not part of those cheating Astro teams, so it's hard to.
It is, but you never know, man. You come into the game and you're gonna make a mark, and you fire a fastball. Although he's a big bastard, I don't know if I want to throw something at him. So
I went to spring ball training for the Nationals, and the Astros and the Nationals share a facility down there in West Palm Beach, and was there for the game for the Astro National game, and literally everybody that for the Astros that went to bat, I'm talking about these poor bastards that got invited that aren't getting paid for spring ball, that's out of high school and college or junior college, getting booed like they're the ones that were stealing signs.
Yeah.
And I was turning around, I was like, really? This dude came from Pennsylvania somewhere, from junior college.
It's going to take a long time for them to write that PR nightmare. They cheated. I mean, it's
yes.
Yeah, I still don't like pulling anything Astros. I'm just like, whatever.
Everybody, stealing signs and creating little whatever has been part of baseball since long before the three of us were even alive. So like that piece where everybody's all fired up about it, I'm like, all right, fellas, you're all doing the same thing. They just took it to a different level.
They did, for sure.
But stealing signs has been going on for a long, long time. And although again, banging on a trash can or whatnot, might be a little much. Some of these guys, it's like, come on, man, you've never had your first base coach, whistle at you when a fastball's coming, so give me a break.
Yeah, when people spend good hard-earned money to go to these major league games, they're expensive.
They are.
For them to win the World Series, the way that they did, and to be right there as one of the top teams. And they didn't even need to cheat; they're already good, so it's kind of sucks. But
and it was comical with like Altuve there when he hit that bomb, and he's rounding, in his shirt and everything else. Don't rip my shirt. And then I forget who the other guy was. Played for the Red Sox. Oh God, the outfielder.
Beltran?
No, nope.
Brantley?
Nope. I'll think of it. But there was a guy that used to play for the Red Sox that played for the Astros, and he was interviewed after, and you could see the buzzer right on his shirt, like underneath his the Under Armour thing. I'm like, man, whatever. It sucks, but I mean that's a whole different level. I don't know. I don't know if I'd like getting buzzed while I'm in the batter's box. You know what I mean? Like that'd be weird.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind, especially if I knew a fastball was coming.
Yeah, I guess it would just take some getting used to. You know what I mean? Like you're standing there, you're trying to focus, and the next thing you know,
yeah,
like, my luck, I missed my pants.
Where'd that man go? Is he still on there?
Yeah, he just hit himself.
Oh, okay. So did you guys want me to show my cards then?
Yeah, let's see what you got, man.
Okay. So the first one is also the next one, but it's one of the Topps opening day short prints. So these are almost like a case hit, just like the bat down card. So there's one of these, and the next one is the same thing. I got another one coming in, so I'm gonna have 3 of them, and then the next ones are some of the Series 2 cards. I got 4 of them, so there's 1, 2. Trying to put it on the camera right. I've never used this stuff before, so it's kind of funny. 3, 4. So I was able to get my hands on 4 of the Topps Series 2. I actually pulled all of them but 1. I didn't buy a super ton of this product or anything like that. One of these 2030s. I really like this card. I think it's a little undervalued because it's an insert, and but you can only get them in the hobby box or the jumbo box, so you can't get this in retail. So immediately it eliminates 50-70% of the product, whatever was made. I don't know, who knows,
Right.
But I think that one's a little bit undervalued. We got one of these 85 out of the Chromes today. Real pretty card, man.
Yeah, those are cool.
Yeah, they are cool. People say that they're significantly less valued because they're the insert, but I mean, I guess it's not a true rookie. I mean, I don't know, whatever,
To me, if it says rookie card on it, it's rookie card.
Yeah, I guess it's just a different taste,
Yep.
I mean, I didn't get one of the base Chrome, so that was a little bummer. But I pulled this one right here. This was in the Topps Series 2. This is
a good lick right there.
The gold 85, and this one's number 2 50, 45 out of 50. I don't know if you guys can see that. Pick that up.
Nice. That's got to be some cash right there, man.
So, you know what? There was one that recently sold on eBay. It was up for bid. It had some white on the corners and stuff like that. And it only went for like $115. I was surprised.
Huh.
Yeah.
Auctions. I don't get the auctions, man. It's to me.
It's hit or miss.
Yeah. Yep. It
And
really
so,
is.
I mean, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. I don't have any of the Bowman Chromes. I haven't been on the Louis Robert bandwagon. Like Nasman has done some stuff before, and I'm not a prospector. I don't want to do that type of thing. I wait till I get to see them play and see what they're made of, because I played baseball, not a professional level, but at a pretty high level. And there's things that I see that a lot of people don't see. And what I've seen so far, actually getting to watch him, I'm on board with him. He's going to be something special.
Yeah.
To me, I think he's probably more talented than Acuna.
Yes.
So
he is a true 5-tool player.
Yeah. There's no denying it. I've seen enough. I'm on board. So
now,
the other one that I got that I can't show you guys is that SSP, the triple, and I was really excited to get them out, but oh well.
When you say you're on board now, are you going to go? Are you kind of guy that kind of tries to go all in on a guy, or do you try to? How do you do that? You just get a few, or what do you do?
I like to keep a few for myself. I don't like to sell them all. But yeah, I typically go all in with a guy for like a few months, and I get what I can get my hands on. But I also like to buy other stuff too. Like I got this in the mail today. It's a '93 SP Chipper Jones. I just
Nice.
think it's a supremely undervalued card.
Chipper was so good. He was so good.
Man. I mean, if
It
you
was
guys
sad he played for the Braves.
it's mint. If this was a cheater mint, it would be a $4,000 or $5,000 card.
Yep.
This card's mint. It's beautiful, and I picked it up for like $3.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. He was so goddamn good. Like, it's crazy. Hang on one sec. I gotta shut this door. Hang on.
Yeah. So I look for deals, and I pick up stuff that I like, and sometimes I don't keep it for very long. I don't do basketball very often, but I got some of these like '98 EX 2000s. I got Kobe. I got Kobe right here. So this is one of my favorite cards when I was a kid. Well, here's the Kobe right here. Yeah, these cards are just awesome. They got the acetate, and so I picked these up recently. And I don't buy a lot of basketball, but I see these LeBron base cards going for crazy big bucks, and figure what the heck, why not? Get some basketball. It seems to be so crazy valued right now. So I don't see anybody else on here right now. I don't know what's going on. But I guess I'll wait a few minutes.
Can you
I didn't even do my hair, man.
Can you go back? What Jordan did you just show?
Oh, it's the '98 EX 2000. Just a base card.
Oh,
But I
nice.
think these are graded. Like 10s are selling for like $400 or $500 now.
Well, they're so
Yeah.
condition sensitive. It's not even funny.
Well, what's crazy about that is if you actually dissect the card, it's hard plastic.
Yeah. Yep.
This is way more durable than any paper card you could ever have.
Yep.
And granted that this might not be the clearest thing, or
Right.
I don't know how they grade it. I have no idea, but it's going to be way more durable than any kind of paper card. It's going to last forever.
Yep. There's
water and it'd be fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
I guess there's a lot of surface issues with like chipping and things like that on some of them.
Yeah.
I
mean, in this card I could see some. I'm looking at it right now, but whatever. I mean,
yeah, no, those cards. Those cards are awesome.
They were some of my favorite cards when I was a kid.
Yep.
I'm 36 years old. I started collecting cards in like 1992, 1993 when I could afford them, with my little lunch money and stuff or whatever. And I remember when these cards came out, and they were probably some of my favorite cards. Topps Gold Label was my favorite. I love that set.
Yeah, I remember. Like I was telling Nats earlier, I'm 3 years older than you, so like I remember when '89 Upper Deck came out, and I was like all about it. Even like Leaf back in the day, like Dave Justice rookie card. There you go. That card is the best. I have like 10 of those.
No other card that I look at makes me more happy to look at.
That card rules. It's the best card.
Apparently there's a million of them. I don't know, the exact count, but
it doesn't matter.
You did a video this week, and you're right. That card looks better in a PSA slab.
Let me see it again. I don't know. Those white border cards, man.
I don't think I ever said that it looks better in a PSA slab, but I said that there's something about a PSA 10 that makes me really.
You said about that card in a slab look better. Yeah,
they are back to back. So
I think it makes it look brighter, but that's just me.
I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean,
but I love SGC.
Yeah, I don't know. I have it in a PSA. It's just that card is just so awesome. I really like. You know what my favorite card is of his is the '89 Flair, the gray. The gray rookie one.
Yeah, it's a great card.
Yeah, that's my favorite Griffey. What up, Card?
What up, Card?
How you doing, man?
Card, we were talking about you earlier in a good way, so you missed it. But Card's a big Pop Report fan too, so he would have liked that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, I think with baseball for me, like why I got out of it just because of the whole prospecting thing. It was tough for me. Like you show that Chipper Jones card to me, I'd rather have that all day than the guy Robert you were showing. And I know he's hot, and I know he's got the potential and whatever, but it just got to the point where I was like, man, whatever happened to, how is this guy in Double A selling for more than Griffey or Manny or whoever? It just drove me nuts.
It drives me nuts too. Absolutely.
And
even like with Luis Robert, I mean, or I should call him Robert. That's man.
It's wrong.
I mean, it's like they've only been in the league for such a short time, and it's all about hype now.
Yep.
And like this guy right here, I've preached this guy a lot in a lot of my videos.
Arenado.
And he has good value in the hobby. Don't get me wrong, he does. But to me, it's so undervalued for what he's accomplished like the last 6 years.
He's a stud. He's
probably the best third baseman defensively that I've ever seen. He plays in Colorado, and I get the fact that he's got that little behind him, and a lot of people think, oh, he can't play anywhere else. And even this year, like he didn't hit a home run until he got back home after like 6-7 games.
Right.
So I mean, are they wrong? Maybe not, but at the same time,
it's the same thing down in Arizona, man. Where they put the humidor in there now. I mean, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like it still doesn't. Yes, the air's thinner, and yes, the ball travels better. But the bottom line is you still have to square it up and hit a 96-mile-an-hour fastball out of a major league ballpark. So that takes skill.
Well, like 115 or 120-mile-an-hour velocity off the bat. Yeah,
right. And
I could never catch up to 96 myself. It was just a little too hard for me.
I stood in a cage at a baseball coach's clinic years ago, and the thing simulated a Randy Johnson fastball. I was like, "What in the hell is this?" Like,
excuse me, sir. Could you stand back another 10 feet? Please?
Yeah. Could you turn it down? The ball was hitting the thing in the back, and I'm like, "What the?" I took like 2 swings, and I was like, "I'm out of here."
You guys didn't have your feelings hurt. I grew up with a guy named Ray Durham.
Yep.
And me and Ray grew up together and played ball from Little League up to Legion Ball tryout. Keyword tryout for Nats, man. I could hold my own. I wasn't a home run hitter. I got the RBIs. I was a good fielder, third base, second base. But to see somebody like that play, and we went to Legion Ball, and Legion Ball here, you get drafted. You do tryouts, it's drafted. Yeah. It's a big deal. Or it was back then.
Yeah, it was back. Now it's AAU ball.
Yeah, AAU. I didn't even get picked. You talk about get your feelings hurt. I didn't even get picked up by nobody.
It's all right. We still love you.
Ray Durham and see that man, what he turned into playing ball. There's somebody right there that has he had no hobby love. He wasn't a grand slam hitter, but he was a guy you wanted on your team.
Yeah.
He was an anchor guy on the team.
Yeah. He reminds me of like a Kenny Lofton.
Love Kenny.
Situation. Yeah.
Love Kenny.
Leadoff hitters, good speed, get on base.
I like his counterpart even better, Willie Mays Hayes in Major League,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, if they didn't make it after him, I don't know who they did.
I know.
Yeah.
God, that movie's classic. But yeah, so I think that moving forward, I don't know if I'll ever get back into collecting baseball cards again. Maybe if my son, as he gets older and maybe if he wants to or whatnot. But I keep trying to dabble into hockey. The problem for me, I am such a diehard. I hate every other player in the NHL. I don't care how good they are or whatever. So it's like tough for me to go buy a Sidney Crosby rookie card. It's just I can't do it. So I just stay out of hockey. Basketball is my thing. Football to me, it's all quarterbacks, and I don't understand that. Take advantage of a 3-year run of a running back and collect his cards and flip them. Why there's no love there, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just because, like I said, they only last for 3-4 years. But
well, I think in football, I mean, there's just so much underappreciation. Like, usually Moss is pretty cheap. Chris Carter, Hall of Famer, you can get his stuff for super cheap. Even like guy that's in the media all the time is on Skate Media, the first take. You can go find a Shannon Sharp rookie card, PSA 10 or whatever, for like $20.
I was shocked. Like, I was shocked what you can, like, with Brett Favre, like some of his rookie cards I've seen in PSA, like 8, 9, 10, and I'm like, that's it. I don't know. I just equate. He was a hell of a football player. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Well, I think for him, it's the years. The
Yeah.
the 91, 92.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's just the way it is with those years.
It's interesting. It's interesting to, like, kind of like, I don't know. I'd like to. I don't know if I'd ever dabble in anything else ever again because I'm so dialed into basketball.
That's a good choice.
It is. It's fun. And it's easy to watch. There are a lot of years for when Jordan retired that I didn't watch basketball. And I finally gotten back like full tilt like I was when I was like young, a kid and younger. There's some good basketball out there right now. Every team seems to have like an absolute superstar, and then a complementary player that's very good. And then this ridiculous crap that's going on with Prism cards right now, and guy goes up for a layup, his card goes up $5. It's like it's
Hey,
great.
what do you think about the Marvel card, the Marvel insert for basketball?
I think it's a cool, like, I personally, I love inserts, and I think in 10 years, I think there's going to be some, there's already a massive demand for some of those guys. The Giannis and the LeBron guys and whoever, they pay big bucks for those cards. The grading piece fuels the fire. But I think in like 10, 15 years, when we get, if those sets aren't continually reproduced, I think those Marvel sets have a chance to become like an iconic insert set. I really do. It's just a matter of.
I'm going to take my camera off. My wife's got to walk through and she don't want to be on camera. So
Yeah.
I'm going to have to take my camera down.
That's cool.
So, so who would you say your favorite basketball player was when you were younger?
Oh, Jordan.
All the way?
Yeah, it wasn't even close. Jordan, Larry Bird. I love Charles Barkley, Shaq, like all those guys. You know what I mean?
There's a lot of them.
It was literally like, I hated the Knicks. Like I always was like, I was like 13, 15, whatever years old. And I was like, I want to fight John Starks. The Knicks, those were classic battles, man. Isaiah and the Pistons back in the 80s. I still hate Isaiah just because, I was lucky enough. I was like 12 years old when the Dream Team was put together. So like, that was like right in like the prime of like, I still thought I was going to go to the NBA. I was like a 5'10" white kid and, that didn't work out too well, but, definitely Jordan, Bird, any of those guys. Now, I'm really big on Jaylen Brown for the Celtics. I think he's a phenomenal talent, and he checks off all the boxes for me. He goes to the rim hard. He plays hard. I really like him. I think Anthony Davis is phenomenal. I really wanted the Celtics to grab him, but he didn't want to come to Beantown, so whatever. I get it. But, and LeBron's just a freak. Whether you like him or not, you have to respect him, man. He's friggin' good. He's a good role model. He just does everything right. So there's like, for someone like me who's a Jordan guy, you always like Jordan's better than LeBron, and then you get the LeBron guys. Nah, LeBron's the GOAT, and it's like, listen, they're both great. Whatever. Magic was great. You know what I mean? So there's just so much. I was lucky enough, and it sounds like you're just a few years behind me. So we were lucky enough to grow up in like a serious like golden era of basketball. The names that you can pump out of the guy, Kelly Tripica. Yep. Rolando Blackman. It's just
Well, I was more into baseball, and so I was big into Griffey. Like I had posters, Costacos posters, all over my room of Griffey.
Yep.
Wall to wall.
Yep.
And so I tended to be more of a Seattle fan when I was a kid, and that carried over to basketball. I liked the Supersonics. Not Gary Payton, Sean Kemp, the Rain Man.
The Rain Man, dude, he was nasty.
Dude,
nasty.
He was my favorite. I just loved to watch him dunk in the games.
Yeah,
and at that time for me, I was 10, 11, 12 years old. That's all I cared about. I mean, everybody knew that Jordan could dunk. Yep. But when I seen Sean Kemp, somebody else besides Jordan, I think that Sean Kemp was the most aggressive in-game dunker. Like when he dunked on you,
it was ferocious, dude. Yeah,
and that's what I like to watch because I wasn't really that big into basketball, but
Sean Kemp was awesome. I mean, I was a huge baseball guy too. Played it forever. I don't know. I'm down on baseball right now. Griffey was like iconic for me too, man. Like he's my favorite player. I still wear my hat backwards because of him. The whole generation, I think, of guys our age do. You know what I mean? We're getting into our 40s now. We're still wearing our hats backwards like we're 15. But that's because of him. He had the sweetest swing. He was, personable. He was athletic. And Mike Trout's very, very good. He's about as, interesting as a rock. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't do anything for me. I was a big Manny Ramirez fan. I loved Manny. Manny did the stupidest shit ever. It was hysterical, pissing in the outfield wall, like running out in the field with his American flags and hitting absolute bombs. He was another guy I just loved. A big Poppy.
He was a great right-handed hitter, period. Probably one of the top 10, 15 ever.
Easily.
Mm-hmm.
It's just right now, the Red Sox are horrible. Losing Mookie Betts was a kick in the nuts, and I just got to hold tight and, hopefully when they figure out their payroll, they can add some arms and actually compete because their offense isn't bad. I do think they're going to trade JD Martinez this year. Devers will or should. Devers is fine. He's going to be fine. Devers and Bogarts are their guys. I don't think they're going to get rid of them. I do think they're going to sell off everybody at the trade deadline this year if there is one. I really think that. And then they'll figure it out moving forward. That guy Chaim Bloom is, he made chicken salad out of chicken shit in Tampa Bay. So if you can make it work there, you can make it work when you get some cash to spend. You know what I mean?
And that's when you asked me earlier. Basketball for me was more of a flip or a piece thing. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. But I figured I'd buy the cards and then see if I liked them. And because like the EX2000 cards, those are some of my favorite cards. And I like Jordan. I like Kobe. If I can get a good price for them, then I'll flip them. But whatever. I don't care.
Right. I've started to do that too. Like I've gone back into just I said this the other night on my podcast or whatever. Like for every modern guy I buy two like Jordans or, grab a Reggie Miller rookie card or something like that just to keep my collection balanced so I'm not getting crazy one way or another. And I just like the Zion Ja thing. I think it's great for the hobby. It's obviously bringing in crazy money. I won't spend that money on those guys. I think at the end of the day, Ja's going to be a way better player. I think, what do I know? I think Memphis losing Jaren Jackson like that kills them. That guy was blowing up. But I think they're in real trouble now. But whatever. We can talk basketball another time. Let's talk baseball, man. What else? Dodgers. Are you out in California, Chili?
Yeah, I'm like in Central California.
So who's your
I'm close to the Bay Area and the Dodgers. Growing up, I didn't really have too much of a preference. I was more of a Giants fan because Bonds.
Yeah.
I was always a big Bonds fan.
Yeah, Bonds ruled.
So, but recently, in more recent years, I've been more of a Dodgers fan. When Bonds retired the next season, like in 2008 it was, I went to one of their first games that year. And I was actually kind of pissed off because every single thing that was anything Bonds in the entire stadium they took down. You didn't even know he played there.
That's dumb.
They completely like just said Bonds who in the stadium, and I understand why they did it, but I didn't like it. So I didn't support the Giants for a long, long time until maybe like when they won their second World Series, like in 2012. See, I lived in Fresno, California, which is at the time was a AAA team for the Giants. There's the Fresno Grizzlies, and I had Buster Posey roll through there. Some of the really good players that they had, that they brought up. And so I started following them a little bit more again and attending the games and stuff like that. But I kind of hated the Giants there for a little while. And right now they're in a bad spot, but they're playing good.
Yeah.
Posey, I guess, opted out for the season and whatever have you. But they're still playing okay. So
what do you think about Yaz?
Oh, Yastrzemski?
Yeah.
Hobby or just personal opinion?
Hobby, it is what it is. I don't think he's going to be a big draw. Player wise, yeah, he is old, but he hits.
Yeah.
He hit his way right into that lineup, and it's nice to see. Who's that?
Mookie Betts.
Mookie. Yeah.
I think that card's going to be something with it in that uniform. His first year.
Yeah. I never understood that whole thing, like the rookie card and like in a new uniform. But I guess now with the way players move around, it's a thing. But to me, it doesn't do much for me. But I know it does a lot for a lot of people.
Let these dogs outside so they're not ruining this podcast.
I think in baseball, I think the one team where you could really get into like prospecting a little bit and make yourself some cash is if you like dove into the Oakland Athletics.
Why is that?
Because they're just the master of bringing up like Bill whoever, and all of a sudden Bill whoever is a goddamn stud, and you've never heard of him, and it's like they just do that year after year after year after year. And I can't see I don't think their prospects are ever hyped. I just think they just bring these guys up, and for however Billy Beane does it, they dominate. Who's
AJ
that?
Park? AJ Park?
Yeah.
Who's that other? They got another pitcher out there too.
Jesus.
Yeah. There you go. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I like if I was gonna throw some cash at some guys, I would throw some cash at some Oakland A's guys. That's just me.
That's not his rookie card, but his rookie card.
Yeah, he hits the shit out of the ball. Ramon.
Yeah. Never mind.
Well, by far, my favorite is Matt Chapman.
Yeah.
And he's already picked up a lot of Bobby love just because how good he is.
Yep.
For me, he's the ultimate A right now. Matt Olson is also very good.
Yep.
But in years past, I look at some of the guys like Jason Giambi, Eric Chavez. They didn't really get a lot of Bobby love, even though they were really good. So to me, I kind of hold back from the A's a little bit because I haven't seen anybody really be like, dun 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 dun.
Yeah, it's a weird team. Because they find these guys and they groom these guys to their system and they do well, and then it's like they're kind of just always looked at like it's an Oakland thing. It's like it's just specific to Oakland. Like those guys, I don't know how they never, other than like I shouldn't say that because when they had those teams in the early 2000s and whatnot with like Mulder, Miggy and whatnot. Miggy was a stud. There you go. That guy's
20 Topps Chrome.
That guy's he got hurt last year. Or didn't he got hurt and then didn't he get suspended or something? He got suspended for PEDs.
Miguel Tejada?
No. The pitcher there.
Jesus? I don't think so.
No?
Not that I know of.
I think he got hurt.
He might have.
He was out. I only know that because I had him on my fantasy team waiting for him to come up, and he was out for a while. So I think it might have been an injury, but I could have sworn he was on a PED suspension. He's a stud, man. Stud, throws gas. you know, I know pitchers generally don't get a lot of love, but like Greg Maddux was my guy. I named my kid Maddux.
Wow.
He was a stud.
He's
You know,
my number 2 favorite.
he was
Maddox.
so good,
right
man.
behind Randy Johnson.
Yep. He was so good. My favorite pitcher of all time was Roger Clemens. I met Roger last summer in a weird like impromptu at Fenway Park. It was awesome. Like, it was me, him, his wife, and my 2 daughters. I was buying overpriced chicken tenders for him, and then here comes Roger and his wife, and I was like, "That's Roger Clemens." I'm like, I told the guy at the concession stand, I was like, "Hold my food, I'll be right back." And he was cool as shit, man. He was cool, and I think it was because it was literally just the 5 of us, like out on the little platform thing. But it was like a dream come true. Like I worshipped him growing up. So it was awesome.
I was a Red Sox fan back in the day when he pitched for him, when him and Boggs were there.
I hate Wade Boggs. God, I hate him.
Well, I liked him as a player.
It's a strong word.
But he couldn't keep him in his pants.
Oh, God. As a diehard Red Sox fan, I cannot. I'll change hate. I cannot stand Wade Boggs. Like, cannot
It's a
stand
strong
him.
word.
Yeah, especially today. I was a big Ellis Burks guy. Remember Ellis Burks?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I loved him. Played center field. I played center field, so he was like my guy until like Griffey came along, and then Ellis went out to Colorado, and that was the end of that love affair. But
hey, I want to get Chili fired up for a second. You ready? I'm gonna get up. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Chili, we discussed this and we got our viewpoints, and I want to get yours on here. Pop reports. What's your take on pop reports for slab cards?
I feel like they're irrelevant.
we're batting 1,000 on this tonight.
Yeah.
I think that it's nice to look at, and to me, it's like, okay, like the Ronald Acuna bat down, right? All those cards are getting graded for the most part, and you can see how many of them are out there. Now, how many of them are cracked or reslabbed, you don't know, but it gives you a good idea, because Topps is too lazy to put serial numbers on the cards, or they just don't want you to know. Right. So we got to find out the hard way, and I think that's good that SGC just started doing it, because who knows how many they might have graded before they started keeping track of them, And so if you're a grading company and you want to be reputable and have, some say in stuff, and you're not keeping track of it, it's a good thing that you started doing that.
So what you're saying is people do crack slabs and resubmit. Would I get that correct?
Would you what?
Would it be correct for me to take the assumption that you have the belief that slab cards are cracked and have been cracked and resubmitted to the same vendor or a different vendor? That is.
Oh yeah, for sure. It happens. Some people do it all the time. That's how they make money.
Yep.
If you're familiar enough with a product, say like the 89 Upper Deck, you can see inconsistencies with Beckett on the centering all day long if you just look at cards, the pictures. They're bad. They're really inconsistent with the centering. But at the same time, they're maybe more consistent with the corners or something like that. And PSA is really harsh on the corners. So if you see a Beckett graded card that's got 9.5 corners and decent centering, which PSA is a little bit more lenient on, and you think you can get a PSA 10 out of maybe even a Beckett 9, it's possible.
Yep.
Then you're going to spend $150 get that Beckett 9, and then send it to PSA, and then get your 10, and bam, you just made $1,000.
Yep. It's all about the cash.
So it just depends. You got to play your cards right with the certain cards and have a little bit of knowledge on, tendencies with some of the grading companies and how, if they're a little bit more lenient on certain things, like say for instance, the stupid the card I pulled the other day. There's a little bit of white showing, but it's like it's almost impossible for the card not to have white because of the coloring and then the card being white. So it has to be cut like in a certain way where it's It's just almost impossible for it to happen. And, you know, will SGC be a little bit more, you know, lenient on that than maybe PSA? You know, I don't have the answer to that, but it's just certain scenarios and certain things like that. I think that some people are really good at cracking slabs and submitting it to the right company and then getting the best grade for their card, and then in turn actually getting the most money for their cards. And sometimes it's a big dramatic increase, and then sometimes it's not. So just depends on the guy and what they're doing. So let's see. I don't know if you guys can see any of the little white that shows, but like in an SGC holder, I mean that would pop up big time because the black and the white would just stick out. But I'm getting glare here. I don't know how to make the glare go away, but yeah, you see the little piece of white. It's because the card is white. So it's just got the paint, or the color. So I mean,
and that's what makes the colored borders like that tough, because you see that and it sticks out like a sore thumb.
Yeah. Yeah, there's hardly no way that they could cut it without that happening, really.
Right. Agreed.
What do y'all think about pop control? We hadn't talked about that. What about pop control? Y'all believe it exists?
I do.
Yeah.
I was reading something the other day about that where somebody did an article on I forget where the hell it was. I'll find it and send it to you. But they were talking about how the pop control exists on like the big name guys. So in baseball, Jeter, the SP foil, there's some significant evidence there that there's like, I don't know, I'm just going to throw out a number. It's not accurate, but there's like 500 PSA 9s and there's like 50 10s. It's clear as day. There was multiple examples of like time and time again of the big name guy, or even the vintage guys are talking about, like, how in vintage sets, the first card like is pretty important to a lot of the vintage collectors. There's always a lower pop.
Hang on a second. I'm gonna answer the phone. My girl's calling. If you can take me off for a second.
Yeah, he's asking you to put him in the background there, Nats.
Say what?
He wants off camera for a second. It's funny you say that though, because what I just read the other day was someone was talking about that. Like I want to say it was 56 tops. I think Hoyt Wilhelm's the number one card in the set, like card 1, and there's only like a PSA 8. There's nothing higher than an 8. Is PSA doing that intentionally? I have no idea. Like I can't say that. It was speculating on these people that were, in this article or whatnot. But it's there's got to be some merit to it, because people that have been grading cards for a long time are the ones saying this stuff. So there's got to be some type of pop control. I think.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I've just seen too many graded cards that look like they're off. And that just might be the graders, being off. But I mean, usually the lower dollar cards they get right, and then some of these higher dollar cards, it's like, what are they seeing? It's like it's clearly just they're trying to do something. And then with the black labels, I feel like they fetch such a high dollar, the Beckett, black labels, that they
I don't understand it. I don't understand the black label. They've got a 10, they got a 10 pristine, and then they have a 10 black label.
Well, because the black label is 410 subgrades.
Oh.
Pristine, I think, is 310 subgrades and a 9.5. So when you get, it's all a marketing, money making thing. It's anybody that thinks otherwise is out to lunch. It's all about that chase of, I would be, the only way you could really know if there's pop control on that is who the people are that are getting that black label or something like that. Because if it's a guy, if it's the average guy, like the three of us, okay. And I'm sure there's a lot of those. But if it's a guy that does a lot of business with a company, I have no way to prove that. But I'd be interested to know how many big name, those guys that submit, 40, 50,000 cards a month to some of these companies. I gotta think that, business is business. You want your clients to be happy.
Well, they had the one guy that I'd have to pull him up on the internet, but he worked at Beckett and had connections at Beckett, and he has more Black Label theme cards than anybody's ever seen on the market.
Which, what does that tell you? You cannot not be suspicious about that. You can't. There's no other way to that. It's like when those politicians, like back when the old coronavirus started, and they all those politicians down south there sold off their stocks. They have insider information. So how can you not look at them as the average Joe and be like, what are you doing?
And the one was from North Carolina.
For me, in general, Beckett really lost a lot of my respect because I took a break from the hobby for many years.
Yep.
But when I used to collect, Beckett, that was our Bible. That was our price guide. It used to mean something to me. I used to buy it all the time, at least every 4 or 5 months or whatever, because it didn't change that much. But when I got back into the hobby, and then I bought Beckett. I bought the magazine. I bought the app. And, when I went to the card shop, or if I, was on eBay and I was trying to buy like a Flair Hot Gloves insert card that I always wanted or something like that, I would look at the price and I'd say, well, it books for $30 and he was selling it for 80 or whatever. And I'd say, well, it books for $30. Like, that's what I should pay. And when I first got back into it, it was kind of like I got laughed at a lot because
I did the same thing, man.
And so, and then I start to do a little bit of research, and then I'm like, okay, well, nobody uses Beckett no more. Nobody cares about Beckett no more. But a lot of the stuff I noticed, in my personal opinion, was carrying over to the current market values, like that Chipper Jones card. It wasn't ever labeled as a rookie card, but people still weren't able to even come close to spending the same kind of money on the Chipper Jones as the Jeter. And there's more than one reason for that. But at the same time, they're both rookie cards.
Yep.
You might not look at it like it is, but Chipper Jones did not play a single game until 1995 Major League. Right. So anything before that, he's either a pre-rookie, which is a rookie, or a draft or a rookie. Right. You're going to call it one of the three things, whatever you decide, but it's a rookie card. So, but because Beckett didn't have it in the price guide as a rookie card at that time, I think the prices still carry over, in my opinion. But, maybe there's other things that affect it. The market's silly to me sometimes. So
I still use Beckett right now. I have the.
It's good for like sets, if you want to see who's in it,
I use it exactly like that. I use
it has good uses to it still.
Yep, it's just like the pop report. It's irrelevant as far as pricing goes, but it still can give you like for me, I'm very organized when I collect certain guys. So like I'm a big KG guy, so I type in Kevin Garnett. And it brings up 90-something% of his cards that I didn't realize some of the early stuff that was out there. And it allows me to kind of stay focused when I'm looking for cards and whatnot. And then it also, like you said, with the price, it still gives you like an idea of like, oh, this card's a little more valuable than, maybe, I don't know, some other card. But there's still a place in my mind. There's still a place for it. I know it like prices. It's not because it's not even anywhere close to whatever the hell is accurate.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's a joke for price guide. Yep. Yeah,
I don't get it because I'm sure they could figure out a way to make a partnership with eBay or something. Like it just doesn't.
It could be a very simple thing. Yeah, it could be. But I think with like you said before, with Prism and a layup changing it by $5, it's just too out of control.
Yeah, yep.
And that's a big problem because it doesn't need to be like that.
No.
And people that are making it like that are doing too much.
Yep.
So.
Agreed.
What do y'all think about soccer?
Soccer.
Love it.
Yeah, it's a great sport, man. But I can tell you about Cristiano Ronaldo. Maybe one guy.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
So
I don't even know like about the Pilo thing, if that's Mexican, American.
I don't even know what the hell that is.
Yeah, I don't know. Or Philo, is that just a game?
FIFA.
I don't know. FIFA? I don't know anything about it.
FIFA.
Yeah. See, FIFA.
The video game FIFA. Oh, it's phenomenal.
Okay. See, yeah. I don't.
It's
I'm
one of the
way
best.
uneducated about soccer.
It's like NHL, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, NHL, same thing. I know Wayne Gretzky, Mark Messier. That's about it.
Yeah.
Eric Lindros. I know another one. Eric Lindros.
There you go.
See?
Soccer.
That's it. That's all I got, man.
I live in an area where there's a large Portuguese community, and soccer's huge. And some of my buddies played like Division I soccer here in the U.S. and they follow the game in Europe big time. So I've been picking their brains on like some guys because they follow it. But I haven't bought any soccer cards. The bottom line is soccer's the largest sport in the world.
It is.
And the market is huge. It's just in the United States, I don't know how big that market is. But if you're willing to ship your cards around the world, guess what?
I think it's definitely steadily growing. I think that the market is getting better on it as far as the hobby in the States, but it's never going to eclipse basketball.
No.
At least not in our lifetime, for sure.
Nope.
And, it's possible that it might eclipse baseball if baseball keeps doing enough stupid crap, but I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon either.
There's too much of a learning curve, I think, for the average collector, where it won't take off like because most of the because all of the stars are outside of the US and games are on at different times and things like you really have to work to watch soccer. Like, I mean, I know they put like Premier League games and things like that on TV on Saturdays and Sundays or whatnot, but if you want to watch like a Spanish Premier League or, the Euro or things like that, you got to work. And to me, the NBA is on 12 different channels right now. So, it's just the access to the content is so much easier in the NBA, and in MLB and NHL.
I think out of all the sports, even football, I think that soccer is probably actually the most dangerous. More people get hurt playing actual soccer than any other sport, and I think it's more exciting when you score a goal because in NBA you're scoring how many goals a game.
Right.
Baseball, it's pretty exciting to hit a home run, but how many times have we seen that when guys score goals doing bicycle kicks and scoring from the center field position or another center halfback or stuff like that. When that kind of stuff happens, it's pretty exciting. So
in the hobby though, you got to be careful for getting into soccer. I've been watching some videos on it, and you got to be careful which product you buy. Not necessarily there's the different level leagues have their own boxes and
the Premier League has its own.
You get Bobo guys in a box that are Premier, not Premier League, and
I think the big play. My buddy brought this up to me this past weekend, which I thought was interesting. The big play for soccer is if you can find someone that has some knowledge and knows the guys down in the lesser league that is about to be bought by one of the larger clubs. They call them transfers. If you know that guy is about to go from Schmuck City to Manchester United, their card is going to see a huge spike because now they're on the world stage. It's like basically being called up from the minors. You know what I mean? So if you can figure out who those guys are, if you got a friend or whatever that that is really into soccer and can give you some of that information, by all means, go for it.
How far back my knowledge of soccer goes? Pele.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
Did you say Pele?
Pele.
That's what I was trying to talk about earlier, but I don't know what that is. Is that Mexican?
That's a player.
No, Pele's a player.
The first worldwide phenomenal.
Okay. I don't know.
He's like the Michael Jordan of soccer.
Yeah,
okay.
He did he was the one that did the backward rainbow kick. That's who made that shot happen. That backward rainbow kick.
I remember it was early 90s, right? Like 93 or something?
No, it was before that. That was in the 80s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was back
in
in
the
the 80s.
long time.
Yeah, he was actually in a movie with Sylvester Stallone. It was a World War II movie. They were prisoners of war, and the Nazis had the Allied prisoners play a soccer game in Rome, but they didn't escape. They escaped. And he was in it.
Speaking of Sly, have you seen the last Rambo yet? I know it's way off topic, but
yes,
most violent movie ever made.
Yes.
Ever.
That's
I'll
good.
I'll put it up
It's
against
good.
anything. I'll put it up against any movie you want. Most violent movie ever.
He takes it pretty personal.
Ripping the spine out to a new level.
I was like, that movie started off, and it started off so slow and weird. I was like, well, when the hell is he going to kill somebody?
Cheers.
And then he just snaps, and I was like, okay, that's how you close out a series. leave no doubt.
Yeah, well, when he ripped his chest, well, he still.
Yeah, he ripped the dude's collarbone right out of his body. I was like, damn, what just happened?
That was pretty graphic. I remember I was like, oh, shit. I don't know if I can say bad words, but that's what I was like, yeah.
That's what it was like. You're just sitting there, and then you're like, "Oh my god!" Like he's not playing around.
No, you better listen to that, man. He will think you. Yeah.
Hey, before we sign off here, I do want to ask y'all if you had either answer one of the two questions. Do you have a casket card? And if you do, one is it? Or what professional sports personality would you like to meet?
You want to go first, Chili?
I don't really have one for the casket. It's not that important to me. But yeah, all day.
I don't have it yet, but I guess my casket card would be 86 Flair Jordan, and I will get that card at some point within the next couple years. But you know, I think
get on it now, man. Get on it now, dude.
I'm trying, bro.
And get it, man.
I'm trying. I'm putting money
The
away.
sooner the better, because that card's only gonna go.
Yep, I'm trying.
It's gonna cost you more. So
my buddy, my buddy's looking to grab like a BGS 8 right now to try to do the old reslab thing to a PSA 9, and it's crazy. The prices have gone up like $300 this week. I'm like, you know,
what's a BGS going for now? About 4,500.
4,500. You know, 4 to 4,500. You know, and it's like, damn.
I'm gonna see you checked in on Facebook on the Plasma Center. You're gonna be giving your plasma and all this. Check-ins on Facebook. I said, yeah, he's trying to get that card.
Yeah, and then I think the only other, you know, if I can meet someone right now in the, you know, I would love to meet Kevin Garnett. You know, I just think he's awesome. He's nuts. So I'd love to meet him. I met Clemens, so that checked off that box. And I'd love
what about
to
John Walker?
Who? Rocker?
John Walker.
Yeah, he's got to be doing like security somewhere or something. That guy, he's nuts.
Did you ever watch that show, The Eastbound and Out?
Yeah.
Oh man, I love that show. It's hilarious.
Yeah. Kenny F. and Powers. You know, but yeah, those would be my guys. You know, I mean, I'd love to meet any of the three. You know, each one is different. I've met a lot of guys down in spring training over the years. Jim Edmonds, the biggest asshole that ever walked the face of the earth.
Is he?
Oh my God, ever. Like, I couldn't believe it. Matt Morris, one of the coolest guys I've ever met in my life. We actually had
a lot of people say that Randy Johnson's also kind of a dick, like stuck up.
I
never. Yeah, I've heard it. I guess he's so tall and above everybody. Most of the time, he just thinks.
Yeah. I'm trying. Mike, I met. You know who I did? I met Cliff Floyd. Cliff Floyd was really cool. Met Mike Piazza. He was cool. I met a lot of guys. Met Bob Gibson, Lou Brock. You know, they're everybody's got their own kind of personality, and it's tough when you get like thousands of people jamming a card or a ball in your face. You know. You know, but yeah.
You know, I really liked that I got to meet was Bob Feller. I really like Bob Feller.
No way. Big war hero, Bob Feller, right? Wasn't he World War II?
Yeah, I think he was for a little while,
a
couple years or something. Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. So that's a whole nother episode, Nats, man. We could spend time talking about who the hell we met, who's a prick and who's not.
Do you think cards in get graded step back?
I do. Yep.
Who do you like to use?
So right now I'm using SGC. I'm going to send some other cards off to PSA. I figured out quick, there's just no debating the value that PSA brings back on certain cards. But because I'm running on a budget here, I like SGC. I really do, and I'm kind of like a numbers nerd too, even though I can't add to save my life. Like I love the subgrade thing. I just
So do I.
Beckett's just they've lost me. They just have they had such a grip on the hobby at one point, and they were just sat back and were like, whatever. They've done nothing. So like I don't. I mean, I'll buy a card in a Beckett slab all day long. But for me right now, I'm subbing to SGC. I like what I've gotten back. I like the company. Nats and I talked about this earlier. Like that dude Peter running that company. I think there's big things on the horizon for them. I just like his attitude. I like he's going to take them to a good spot, and I think it's great for the hobby because it's pushing at least PSA to change up their game. So at least we'll have two that are doing what we want, which is what they should be doing, because if without us, they're not in business. So
Yeah, I'm right there with you. How you feel about BGS, I feel exactly the same way about both PSA and BGS. Because PSA, the dollar amount doesn't matter as much to me.
Me neither.
It doesn't. Because I don't usually spend my money on those types of cards.
Me neither.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, I personally believe that the only real true reason for most people to use PSA anymore is if you like PSA. And there's nothing wrong with liking PSA, but I just don't. I don't hate them, but I don't like them either.
We have a guy in our Bobbles group there, Northeast Ohio Sports Cards, and he if you're flipping right now and you want to maximize your returns, PSA is your
only way to go.
There's no other way.
There's no denying that for sure. I mean, even like a card like let's see, I had it out earlier, like this right here. Perfect example.
Yep.
This will PSA 10 all day long.
Yep.
Because it's an SGC 10. It just will.
Yep.
But the PSA is about $200.
What's that go for?
This one right here, maybe 120, 130.
That's like I can't. That's the hard part for me right now. Is I don't look at FGC as like some like third world company. You know what I mean? To me, if a card is graded a 10 by whoever it is, it should hold substantial value to a collector. And the fact that like there's such a dominance with PSA, it's interesting. It's interesting in a hobby where there's so many options and cards are, the companies make their money on 44 parallels of a guy in a set, that collectors are so just tunnel vision into one thing. It's weird. It's because it's not how the hobby works. You know what I mean? Like it just, it's weird.
Yeah, I think that I've always compared it to America Online. You guys remember America Online and how well it worked? It was okay. It was good. Did it work better than Net Zero? No, but it was a lot more expensive. But it was popular. That's what everybody liked. That's what everybody knew. So that's what everybody wanted. Even some of the guys that have like huge channels on YouTube, we're talking about like Jav's family and his brother. And I'm not trying to name bash anybody because that's not what I'm about. But the truth is I spent about 2 hours on one of his live streams trying to get him to talk about SGC, just so I could hear what he had to say about it.
Right.
And what he said, they're really good for vintage, but he didn't know anything about them grading newer cards.
Right.
In his mind, he's brainwashed to think that they only do vintage cards.
Right.
And it's sad that some of the guys like that have such big voices in the community aren't paying attention to FGC right now, because it took literally the other two companies not even being able to accept orders for it to happen.
Well, there's a slow movement with some people in the YouTube community in the hobby that have moved towards SGC filming.
There's a lot.
Nolan Elite Code 3's been doing it. There's a handful of guys that are slowly
Gary V.
Gary
Love him or hate him, the man has a huge following. And to me, it's like, before there was Home Depot, there were mom and pop hardware stores, right? And all the mom and pop stores are no longer. It's a Home Depot or Lowe's, and Home Depot wasn't like an overnight phenomenon. It took time. So I just feel that SGC will make John, you took the words right out of my mouth. I was just going to say that if they change, I really think that dude in the Bobbles group that redesigned that label was like heaven. It made that slab look way more like elegant. And I really thought like, wow, the number was shrunk a little bit. The way he had like the little white border there to separate the label, like subtle changes like that, man, people like that shit. So like, I'm hoping they saw something like that and we'll take it under advisement or whatnot. But to me, I just don't see, I see growth in SGC. It may be, it may be slow, but you know what? I'd rather go slow up the chart than down the chart.
I think that SGC does the best of everything, in my opinion. In my taste, in my personal taste, it's just all opinion. But with the black border, I think it looks great. Almost every card except for like a regular chrome card that's not refractor. I don't think that blends well.
Yeah.
But the label, I mean, at the end of the day, for the label, for me, it doesn't. I don't care about the label.
I know, but there's a whole. Yeah, yeah. It's true. I really like black on black. So to me, like when I saw that, when they changed that label to that, I was like, this is awesome. Because that really appeals to me. That's like something I like. Like I like that look on a car with the black rims and the black paint.
Murdered out or whatever.
Yeah. Blacked out, murdered out, whatever they want to, whatever they call it. But to me, for the price and for where I think that company's going and how they're going to set up their model, especially with the bulk submissions, it's a no-brainer for a guy like me to continue to sub my cards with them because I can get a lot done in a short amount of time. We were talking about this earlier. 40 to 60 days is really not a long time. And people are having friggin' aneurysms over their weight. And yes, SGC dropped the ball with they should have came out way earlier than they did and said, holy shit, we just grew 10 times in 3 months. Like that's unheard of. You look at any business out there, they want 10 times growth in like over a year. If they can hit that, they're like amazing. They did it in 3 months, and
no company can change that much. It's not going to happen.
Right.
They're going to be back orders. There's going to be issues. There's going to be problems, and and plus being a pandemic, I mean, you got to have some patience.
Yep, and
you have to, and you have to understand that.
And you hit the nail on the head too, because of the pandemic, and because people aren't working and they're cooped up and they got nothing else to do but sit around and look at their SGC thing and keep hitting refresh to see if it changes from, processing to graded all day. I think if people were back, working and life was normal, I don't think anybody this wouldn't matter because your mind's going in other places. Shit, I got to pick my kids up from swim. I got to get my kid to the doctor. I got to go here. I got to go there. What do you mean?
We're talking about a press of a button. It's a second. I think that it would still, I don't think it would change that much.
Yep.
But I think the thing is it's a little bit more. I think there are a lot of more people out there that are more patient than others.
Yep.
So it's a good thing.
I just think too, at the end of the day, the kid Peter is smart enough and young enough to realize like there's a huge opportunity. They've already gained their attention. Now they got to fix it. They're gonna fix it. And then I think moving forward, I really think by Christmas, I think they'll have the ship righted, and I think that they're just going to continue to grow. I really do.
Yeah.
I got a couple suggestions. He's at the actual owner, Peter. He's in our Facebook group with Bobbles, isn't he?
No,
Oh, he's not.
Andy is that works there.
Andy. Yeah.
And
So
Andy,
Andy-
listen, believe me, Andy listens.
Some ideas, Andy. All right. For landscape cards, make one with a label on top, so you don't have to. You know what I mean? How hard would that be? You know what I mean?
can't be that hard.
Good idea. Good idea.
Hey guys, follow this guy.
does Beckett-
Sports. Follow this guy. He's new to the community. He's got some good stuff.
Okay.
All right.
Last I checked, I don't think Beckett owns the rights to putting subgrades on the slabs. You know, is that thievery or something like that? You could do subgrades too.
Yeah, they
You know,
all.
people like that. Make it an option where you pay for it, just like Beckett. If you want to see subgrades and you want your graders to go by subgrades, cool, offer it. If not, then whatever. It's not a big deal, but gain some of Beckett's customers.
I think the subgrade thing is huge, man. I really do. Like I love.
Yeah,
that.
I like it, man.
Me too.
Yeah,
I like.
it's
I
a
would
wonderful
just like to
feature.
know, like, especially since I'm newer to submitting cards. It at least lets me know, like, all right, like I thought this card was going to get a 9 and it got an 8.5, but when I get it back, I have no friggin' idea why it got an 8.5. So at least it can tell me, like, oh, the centering got an 8. So I know now I can look at it and go, okay, and then I can take another. You know what I mean? So like for comparison purposes, moving forward, I just wish like there was a little bit more to why the card got the grade. Like, tell me the story somehow, so I know. That's all.
And
I think almost everybody's
for those that watch that don't know what subgrades are, what we're talking about is BGS as a premium service that you can pay for. And y'all jump on here. What are the 4 subgrade categories? Go.
Centering, corners,
Easy.
edges, and surface.
There we go. So y'all know, for those that watch it that don't know what the subgrades are, and explain what a true gem mint 9.5 BGS gets more money for whatever reason, but one is that. One is a true gem for BGS.
It's 9.5, all 4.
Yeah, all 4 9.5s. There's like a true gem, then there's a gem, and then there's a min gem, or I don't know. It's like, whatever. To me, it's a 9.5, but if it's got the 4 subgrades of 9.5, it gets more money all day long.
Yeah. And that 9.5, that true gem, can sometimes bring more money than their 10.
Yep.
It's crazy.
I think Beckett really needs to look at their grading scale. A gem min should be a 10. It's a 10 is a 10. It's a perfect score. It's just weird that 2 companies use a 10, and when SGC had that 100-point thing for a while, that was like, what the hell?
It turned off a lot of people because they didn't understand it.
No, and it was confusing. Yep. And so it was, step 1, they recognized that and they changed their label and their grading system. But I think Beckett, bring in the 10. Keep the 9.5, because the 9.5, there's a huge market for that. It's just, we're trained, guys like us are trained, a 9.5 is a gem mint card. That's how we grew up. Now with SGC's 9.5, I don't think, I said this before, people don't understand how to price that card. They're pricing it all over the place. Sometimes they're pricing it way too high. Most of the time, they're pricing it way too friggin' low.
Well, it's all about opinion sometimes too. Like, you can have a personal belief that a card is worth a certain amount, and you could have it skyrocket high. So, like, say like this card right here, in my opinion, I'm going to throw a rough estimate out there. I'd say it's about 70% of the time, a 9.5 SGC will get a PSA 10. It's higher than half.
Yeah.
Okay. So a 9.5, in my eyes, is going to be a PSA 10. So if I have a 9.5, on eBay, and I price that at $200, a lot of people are like, "What are you doing, man? That's way too high. You're trying to rip me off." Well, that's how I see it.
Right.
It doesn't mean that it's right or accurate, but you just never know what a guy's thinking about sometimes. So, that's why it's nice to message somebody. Like if I was looking at a Griffey upper deck and it was at 8.5 and I see that they're selling for 75 all day long, but his 85, 8.5 has two 9.5 subgrades. And, he personally looked at the card really well before, and it had a surface grade of like 7 and it brought it down. But he knew there was nothing wrong with the surface, and they just pop report graded it. Then, he feels like it's worth 125 or 150 compared to the 75 or whatever.
Yep.
So, it just depends on the card and the seller and who they are and what they think. And,
I just think
take it for what it is.
I don't disagree with that at all. I just think that right now, with people, again, I think being impatient and not really having a grasp on how to properly price SGC stuff, I think there's just 9.5s out there that are major buys across the board in every sport. They're just there's some really underpriced cards that if you do a little quick search.
I don't know if you remember, but on the Baubles Facebook page, I posted that I was bidding on a 9.5 Griffey. And I posted it, am I crazy? Because I had the thing up to like $450 or something like that. And everybody's like, no, that's way too high. Buy a PSA 9 for 180 or 200. But I don't think that a PSA 9 is going to regrade a PSA 9 or a PSA 10. But if I took an 89 upper deck and I cracked it, I got a good chance of getting a PSA 10 out of that and spending $450.
Right, and you just made yourself another.
That's almost a $2,000 card for $450. I can't believe that everybody's not buying 9.5s and trying to send them to PSA.
Right.
That's what we talked about earlier.
Yep.
It makes no sense. Just for the sheer moving product of SGC alone is the easiest investment card you could get. It's already slabbed. You know it's a legitimate grade, and you know when it's going to get when you send it to PSA. More, like you said, at least 70, maybe even 80%.
I'd say 70 is a good percentage to throw out there.
I had a guy on Instagram today that I was going back and forth with a little bit that was saying BGS grades way harder than SGC. I've sent, he was like, I've sent a bunch of my SGC to Beckett and they're getting like 6s. And I'm like, dude, Beckett is like, you don't think they're looking at that and going, oh, this is a 6 in our company because we're so much better. Like that's a total scam.
Like useless.
Yeah.
To all of them. It don't matter if it's SG. I'll say it about SGC. I'll say it about PSA. That's a scam.
Yep.
They don't be expecting to get a 10 gem mint.
Right.
When you're doing a crossover.
Yep. You're better off cracking the thing and sending it in yourself. Because when they see, oh, they graded at a 9, well, we're going to show you. We grade much harder. That's a 3. Shut up. Idiots.
Well, it's going to get interesting if GM keeps doing what they're doing on their price point on buying cards and snapping, and then with CCC coming into the hobby, they're pushing coins and stamps and comic books already, and they're going to get into sports cards. So it's going to be interesting what SGC is going to do, what the rest of them are going to do too.
CGC is going to be I think they're reputable. They're their number one comic book thing out there. They've already have an established brand. I just think that watching the uphill battle SGC has had in the modern game, I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to wait and see. I do know that from their slabs that they've released, they look ugly as shit. So they gotta go back to the drawing board on those slabs because they're ugly as shit.
Sorry, it's thundering real bad here. We're getting ready to get hammered.
It hasn't rained here in like 3 months, so it's whatever. I'd send it up here, send it up north, man. But I just think that they're gonna have an uphill battle. PSA just rules until something changes. And I think that once SGC starts getting these dudes' orders back out to them, I think you'll start seeing that, but what the hell do I know,
Don't call the SGC police on me.
Yeah, I know.
I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to lie. I have gotten for this past week, and I did a video on it. I got 2 Slab GMA cards I bought. Victor Robles to finish my collection rainbow. And if I want a card just to Slab to protect it, I very well could do it.
Yeah, they're cheap enough. I mean, what the hell?
Enough to do sheer volume, because it'll be a hell of a lot cheaper than buying a bunch of one touches that you can't get a hold of.
It'd just be interesting. I wonder,
just to have it,
what are the odds of a GMA 10 going to a PSA 10? I don't know if anybody's ever done anything like that. You know what I mean?
I would really like to see Elite Code crack some of the GMAs and do a video on that, and then because he's really good at that.
Yeah, he knows his shit.
Yeah, he does. And he's real familiar with a lot of the cards out there, and I think that would be a good thing.
If you watch this, or somebody that talks to Nolan, hey, how about let's do that for us? Crack some GMA and do a submission to SGC or PSA, and
he would be a good guy to do it for sure.
I think that would be great content.
Well, you know how he does his stuff. He always he writes down what he thinks it's going to grade at. So, I mean, he could write them down and send them to GMA and see what they come back. And for one, and then, I'd be curious. I'd be curious to see about, sending them, crack them and send them. Because they're only, what does it cost? Like $4 a card?
Yeah.
Hell of a lot cheaper than a one touch with shipping.
Yep. So, yeah, who the hell knows?
Yeah.
I think that GMA is probably pretty shockingly accurate compared to the big 3, because I don't think that it was like that maybe 2-3 years ago, because when they were around, when they were first starting out. But I think that in recent videos, because I've dabbled with it and watched them try to find some stuff on it, and it seems like they're pretty okay. So if you want something that's protected, that's graded, their opinion might not matter as much as the other 3, but if you don't care that much and you just want to get the card, and that's what you could find.
You've probably watched the same YouTube channel. I can't think it. He does GMA, and he is flipping stuff. By his accounts, he is making hand over fist. It's sheer volume of transactions that he's doing.
Yeah, it almost be like the mighty InvestiCard model. You know what I mean? Like you're just doing sheer volume.
Sheer volume to make your money.
It could work. I don't see why not. Hey, you're into a card for what? $4 grading. Yeah, I don't disagree. 19th. SGC's been grading cards forever, and they have a hard problem gaining market share. So it'll be interesting for a company that has never graded.
It's going to take a lot to win over the hearts of the collectors.
Yep.
Yeah, and if you're coming over from comics, you might jump ship a little easier, because a lot of people that like comics like sports too. Yep. But as far as somebody coming into the top 3, easily, it ain't gonna be easy.
No, it's not. There's just no way. No way.
Is GMA in the man's house? I mean, is that an urban legend?
I don't know. I asked you that.
Or something.
It might be in a garage, maybe. I'm not too sure. I don't know.
I think if someone said they Googled the address of the company, it comes up to like a house in Florida. So,
sounds about right.
Who knows?
19th. Yeah, we talked about this earlier. Yeah, I think all 3 of us are on the same page on this. Is that each grading company has its pros and cons and its own level price points for people to be able to afford stuff. And I think that's the real good thing about SGC and GMA. They, especially GMA, you're putting hard somebody that doesn't have, $40, $50, $800.
The only
grabbed and bought, they're just getting into a hobby, or they're a kid. They're getting into it. They've got something in their hand. SGC that, I say PSA's like a Target, SGC's a Walmart. Beckett, if you remember Richway, well, I'll say Kmart at this point, or Sears going out of business, and GMA being like a QT, like a high-end grocery store like Harris Teeter or Public or something, a high-end on that end. And that's not.
I think GMA is like at DD's discounts right now. That's what I think.
Well, say that again. What was it?
I think GMA is like at DD's discounts.
It is and I just thought of something. The only problem where I could see GMA, like, you're talking about grading some lesser cards or something like that. Like with basketball right now, the way that the market is with basketball, the $1 Prism guy tomorrow could be $10. It's like, are you hurting yourself by going with GMA? You know what I mean? Because the raw card could sell for $50-$60 and someone's like, I'm not buying a GMA. You know what I mean? That's the only thing I think with basketball specific, because it's so a guy can catch fire in a quarter,
And I'm looking at it from the baseball side. I think
right.
Outside it, as long as a traditional season is, and how long the player development is, to make the majors, unless they're a phenom, is GMA could very well be, hey, instead of that card sitting in a shoebox somewhere,
yeah, put it Bowman paper in GMA slabs, and hey, sell them at $20 a pop.
There you go.
Better than sitting in a box, The only problem is when you end up with a bunch of Mike Trouts, and then you're like, oh crap,
Your way is trick or treaters.
Yeah.
Man, y'all, I've really enjoyed it. Thank y'all so much for being on.
Sorry for getting on late, man.
Man, it's understandable.
It's all right, man.
It's all good. This is fun. I appreciate y'all taking time out of your schedule. You be spending time with your family and your kids and the the little pups there. My wife.
Yeah, they're outside now. They're getting too noisy. They're looking in like, let me in.
Please.
But I really appreciate it. Chili, you got anything important you want to say, or any leads, anything you're working on real quick, or advice, anything like that?
No, step back when you finally get your Jordan, man. I want to see it, man. Share with us, man.
When I do acquire that card, believe me, everybody's gonna know. It might only be like a PSA, like A, but I'll have one, and I'll work my way up to like a 5, but I will get there. Someday soon, I will get there.
Cool.
Step back. You got anything, brother?
Yeah, I think the only thing I'll say, just coming from a basketball perspective, is I've had a few conversations with a couple guys that have gotten back into the hobby. And if you're watching the game and you know the game, and you see something you like, go on eBay or whatever, ComC, wherever it is you buy from, and buy a couple of the guys' cards. Some of these guys are still cheap. But if you like what you see, trust your gut. A $5 card isn't going to ruin you, but that $5 card could be $20 by the time it gets mailed to you. So, trust your gut.
That's crazy to me.
I bought a guy last night. I bought a Prism. I paid $14. They're already up to $25 from the time I bought it till when I woke up this morning.
While we've actually been on air tonight, I bought the Lewis Robert Fire product that's out in the chrome that's in the packs as hey, this is a preview product. Literally, it's gone up $10 tonight.
Yeah, and then you got to wonder what the Louis Robert Fire card is doing.
Yeah, or the Lubob. Well, guys, I really appreciate everything. Y'all don't sign off on air. When we sign off, I want to talk to y'all real quick.
Right.
But everybody, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. I guess my closing thoughts are: collect what you love and love to collect. I'm citing Eric, those throwback pages. Don't let people influence you on what to buy, what to sell, what to sit on. You do you. You do you. Enjoy the hobby. This community is about making friendships and connections, and putting a little bling in your pocket. There ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that at all.
No, it helps you buy what you want to buy.
There, see, took the words straight out of my man's mouth. But yeah, everybody, thank y'all so much. This is a hashtag Dirty South Productions. We're going to call it here. This is a step back.
There we go, baby.
All right, keep your head up. Guys, head on the swivel. Peace out.